Welcome to TALKaCtive Deep Dive, the podcast about communication in the digital age. Each episode unpacks one key idea with clear, practical insights to help you connect better. Stay curious, tune in, and let's dive in.
Human communication. Dramatic pause. What's left of it?
Welcome back to the deep dive. Have you ever gotten like a Slack message and just thought, wow, okay.
Or, totally confused by a text that's like 2 words long from someone you know really well.
Exactly. If that sounds familiar, well, this deep dive is probably for you.
We're jumping into why we seem to constantly misunderstand each other online, especially, when folks aren't from our immediate circle.
Yeah, it's not just bad grammar or like missed typos.
No, it's deeper. It's culture. It's like everyone's running on a different operating system, basically. Different code.
That's a great way to put it. So our mission today is to unpack some sources on this. We want to show how these sort of invisible forces, shared values, beliefs, language, how they define every single interaction we have.
Whether that's face-to-face or like trying to pick the perfect reaction GIF.
Precisely.
Yeah.
We're trying to give you a bit of a shortcut to understanding the unwritten rules of the digital world.
Okay, so to kick things off, let's talk about this scenario involving Emily. She's 17, a fashion student.
Right, and she's part of this like global online design community. Pretty cool.
Yeah, so she posts these amazing concepts. They're inspired by traditional motifs, color palettes from her own culture. Really beautiful stuff.
And bam, instantly the feedback is just all over the place. A shockwave, really.
Some people are loving it, right? They see the unique blend, the artistry, the diversity.
But then others are expressing confusion or even like actual criticism.
Why, though?
Because those same symbols, or maybe the colors she used, they carried a totally different meaning, sometimes a really sensitive one, in their cultural context.
Oh, yeah, that's the ultimate digital age headache, isn't it? You share something personal, part of your identity.
And suddenly it's up for grabs, interpreted 1,000 different ways by people all over the world.
So what does she do? Does she pull the design, argue back, water down her culture so it's like universally bland?
Tough questions. We're going to circle back to Emily and what the sources suggest later on. But first, let's dig into why these clashes happen. What's the root cause?
Okay, yeah. Let's get into the basics. Culture.
So often we think culture is just the surface stuff, right? Dress codes, holidays, food.
Yeah, the obvious things.
But our sources define it much more broadly. It's the whole framework. Values, beliefs, customs, artifacts, even language.
Okay.
And the key thing, the real insight here, is that culture doesn't just describe your behavior. It actually shapes how you perceive things in the first place.
Right. Let's unpack that because I think that's a point people miss. It's not just what you believe. It's like culture puts these filters on how you even see reality.
Precisely. And this filtering leads to something called selective perception. Culture kind of tells you what's important, what to notice, what to prioritize. And then naturally, it affects how you interpret the messages you do receive.
Okay, so if my culture values, say, getting straight to the point, being direct, why don't I just skip the pleasantries in an email, just get down to business?
Makes sense from your perspective.
But someone else, maybe from a culture that really values group harmony and politeness,
Yeah.
they might see that same email, that lack of, hi, hope you're well, as like incredibly rude, a massive insult even.
Exactly. It's the same string of text, maybe even just a simple emoji.
Oh yeah, emojis are a minefield.
Totally. Two people look at it, and because their cultural filters are different, they reach completely different conclusions about what it means.
Wow.
And this filter, it dictates our interaction dynamics too. How we communicate, what we expect in terms of behavior. Things like eye contact, personal space, all that stuff. And crucially for online life, how we handle conflict.
Which I think leads us nicely into this major communication fault line, the one that probably explains like 80% of all internet drama.
You mean high context versus low context communication?
Yeah, I always think of it as like the silent treatment versus the spreadsheet.
Yeah. Okay, I like that. We definitely need to define this clearly, because this is where things get really practical for navigating the digital world.
Let's do it.
Okay, so high context cultures. These rely really heavily on the unspoken stuff.
The stuff that's not in the words.
Exactly. Nonverbal cues, the history you have with the person, the tone, the overall situation, the context around the message.
So the message itself is kind of indirect, implied.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Think Japan, China, Arab countries, many Latin American cultures, often fall into this category.
Okay, but wait. If it relies on nonverbal cues and shared history, how does that even work online? Like in a text message?
That's the million-dollar question, right? It
Huh.
gets really difficult.
Because if I get a two-word text from a friend who's maybe from a high-context background and I'm from a low-context one,
You might assume.
I automatically assume they're mad at me or something's wrong. Because where's all the information, the context?
Right. And that's the gap. The high context person expects you, the receiver, to fill in the blanks using what you already know about the situation or your relationship. Think about like a really tight-knit Discord group. Someone just types, "Tomorrow is the day."
And everyone else just knows it means the big game update is dropping or whatever.
Exactly. But an outsider looking at that sees absolutely nothing. Zero information. That dense implication, that's the digital version of high context. The source had a surprise party example.
Oh, yeah, where someone just says, it's a special day tomorrow with like a knowing look.
Precisely. Online, it's that super condensed message that means everything if you're in the loop.
Okay, makes sense. Meanwhile, if you're dealing with me, you are firmly in low context culture territory. We need the spreadsheet.
Right? Low context communication demands clarity, directness, explicitness.
Spell it out.
Exactly. The meaning is carried almost entirely by the words themselves. Less reliance on cues. Think the US, Germany, Scandinavian countries.
So if you need something done, you state it clearly. I need the research summary by Tuesday. Attach the data separately. Please confirm you got this.
Yep. Zero ambiguity. Everything laid out.
Like a project plan in an email.
Precisely. Now here's the kicker. A high context person receiving that super detailed, explicit instruction.
They might find it.
Kind of insulting, maybe? Overly formal, like you don't trust them to figure it out.
Okay. While the low context person, me, sees that detail as just being clear and professional. Necessary, even.
Exactly. See the clash? It's built right into the communication style.
Okay, this is getting clearer now. But it feels like there are more layers than just high and low context right now. The world's communication habits seem more complex.
You're absolutely right. And that's where frameworks like Geert Hofstede's cultural dimensions come in handy.
Okay, Hofstede. Sounds academic, but is it actually useful?
It really is.
Yeah.
Think of it less as like strict rules and more as a useful lens, a way to sort of categorize and anticipate some of these communication tendencies you might see in different societies, especially online or in workplaces.
All right, give us the highlights. What are the most relevant ones for, digital life?
Okay, let's focus on three key contrasts. First up, individualism versus collectivism.
Okay. This one feels big. It explains a lot about online behavior, I bet.
It really does. So individualistic cultures, think US, UK, Australia, they tend to focus on personal achievement, independence, self-reliance.
My goals, my success.
Right. And their communication tends to be more direct, I-focused.
Whereas collectivistic cultures,
Like many in Asia, Latin America, Africa, they prioritize group goals, harmony, loyalty, and relationships.
the we over the I.
Exactly. And communication is often more indirect, careful about saving face, not just for the individual, but for the whole group.
Okay, I can totally see this online. Like, compare a solo streamer who's all about their follower count, their personal brand,
Very individualistic focus.
versus, say, an esports team from a more collectivist background, where the entire focus is on the team's success, the group's image. Even how they talk to fans is different, less about individual stars, maybe.
Precisely. The communication strategy reflects that core cultural value. Okay, second dimension. Power distance.
Power distance. Sounds like how much people accept inequality.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
How comfortable a society is with the fact that power is distributed unequally. High power distance cultures, India, Mexico, Philippines, often cited, tend to accept hierarchy,
Meaning?
meaning there's a clearer sense of who's in charge, and communication often flows strictly top-down.
Yeah.
You generally defer to authority.
Okay. This totally plays out in virtual meetings, right?
Yeah.
On Zoom or Teams.
Absolutely critical there.
Yeah.
If you're from a high-powered distance culture, you might feel really hesitant to interrupt the boss, even if you have crucial info. It feels disrespectful to the hierarchy.
Even if the boss wants him.
Even then. It's deeply ingrained. Conversely, low-power distance cultures, Denmark, Israel, New Zealand, they value equality more. Structures are flatter.
So everyone just jumps in.
Pretty much. Participative communication is expected. People feel more comfortable challenging authority or speaking up, regardless of rank. The boss in that culture might actually get worried if their team is too quiet.
Wow. Okay, that explains some awkward silences I've witnessed. And the third one.
Uncertainty avoidance. This one measures how much a society feels threatened by ambiguous situations or the unknown, how much they need rules and predictability.
So high uncertainty avoidance means people hate ambiguity.
Exactly. Cultures like Greece, Portugal, Japan often score high here. They prefer clear rules, structure, procedures, less risk-taking. Communication tends to be more formal and structured.
Okay, so these are the people who need the really detailed community guidelines for the online forum, like
Right.
every single rule spelled out with penalties.
You got it. They need that certainty. Reduces anxiety. Whereas low uncertainty avoidance cultures, Singapore, Sweden, Denmark again, are much more comfortable with ambiguity, risk, and change.
More go with the flow.
Kind of. Communication can be more informal, flexible. Rules might be looser or less strictly enforced. And you can imagine the friction when someone from a high UA background joins a very low UA online community.
Yeah, total anxiety because nobody knows the official rules, maybe?
Exactly. They're looking for structure that just isn't there or isn't valued in the same way.
Okay, so Hofstede gives us these dimensions, boxes kind of, but things feel like they're changing so fast online. Are these categories still holding up?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Because digital culture, globalization, they're throwing a massive wrench into the works.
How so? Are TikTok and, I don't know, Marvel movies rewriting these ancient cultural scripts?
In a way, yes. It creates this huge tension. On one side, you have cultural homogenization.
Meaning everything starts to look the same.
Sort of. Dominant global narratives, think Hollywood blockbusters, huge music trends like K-pop, American tech platforms, and gaming culture. They can start to overshadow local traditions and ways of communicating.
Right. Like maybe younger people know every detail of the latest superhero movie, but less about their own local folklore or history.
That's the risk. But the flip side is also true, and just as powerful. Digital platforms allow for incredible variety and sharing.
What do you mean?
Niche ideas, local cultural practices, underground music scenes, specific dialects. They can now find a global audience almost instantly. Things can spread like wildfire across borders in ways that were impossible before.
Okay, so it's flattening things out A&D, making them more diverse at the same time? That's confusing.
It is. It's a paradox.
Yeah.
And this rapid sharing is fundamentally changing language itself.
Yeah. Pop culture is like a slang factory.
Totally. Our sources pointed out terms like stan, for an obsessive fan.
Oh, yeah, everyone knows Stan.
Or OTP, one true pairing, for your favorite fictional couple.
Yep, got it.
These words popped up in online fandoms, specific communities.
And now they're just normal English, global shorthand. You don't even need to explain them anymore.
Exactly. Language is evolving incredibly fast because of this digital cross-pollination.
And speaking of shorthand...
Memes. Gotta be memes.
Has to be meme culture. Memes are maybe the peak example of high-context, rapidly evolving digital communication.
They rely on shared visual language, pop culture references.
Right. They let you communicate a really complex feeling, reaction, or joke instantly, without needing a whole paragraph.
Yeah, why write out your existential dread about Monday morning when the "this is fine dog" meme says it all?
Precisely. It's incredibly efficient communication if you share the cultural context to decode it.
And this is all happening inside these digital communities, right? Fandoms, gaming groups, professional Slacks, TikTok trends.
Those are the crucibles. That's where people are constantly practicing, adapting, and sometimes clashing over these different communication styles. It's where digital storytelling happens.
Okay, so let's loop back to Emily, our fashion student getting that mixed feedback. Beautiful designs, culturally inspired, but causing confusion internationally. Right, the core problem. How does she navigate that? How does she stay true to her vision, but also communicate effectively in this global space?
What do the sources suggest? Is there a way forward?
Yeah, they outline 3 really smart strategies, and honestly, they're great advice for anyone doing creative or professional work across cultures.
Okay, strategy 1.
First, educate. She needs to proactively teach her audience, her peers, about the meaning behind her work.
Explain the history, the inspiration behind the patterns, the colors.
Exactly. Turn that confusion or critique into a chance for people to learn something new about her culture. Frame it positively.
Okay, I like that. Makes sense. What's next?
Second, engage in dialogue instead of just reacting defensively or immediately changing everything.
Which is tempting, right?
Totally tempting. But instead, she should talk with the community. Ask questions to understand why some people reacted negatively. Share her intentions clearly.
So open communication. Build some mutual understanding and respect.
Precisely. It's about exchange, not just broadcast.
Okay, and the third strategy.
Find a balance. This is key If certain elements are genuinely causing offense or are just massively misunderstood in ways that undermine her message,
Yeah.
she might need to adapt the design slightly.
Yeah.
But the goal isn't to erase her cultural identity. It's about tweaking things without losing the core vision.
So strategic adaptation, not just caving in, finding that sweet spot between diverse expression and clear communication.
Exactly. Showing how her work can be both culturally specific and accessible, or understandable, maybe with a little effort from both sides.
Okay, so the big takeaway here for you, listening. These intercultural moments online, they can be awkward. They can be frustrating.
Definitely. There are barriers, misunderstandings, stereotypes pop up.
If you lean into them, if you use strategies like Emily's.
You gain so much. Enhanced cultural awareness, for one. You get exposed to new ideas, which boosts creativity.
And it helps you grow personally, right? Makes you a better communicator, a more thoughtful digital citizen.
Absolutely. Now, connecting this back to the bigger picture, that source's final thought is really provocative.
It's what?
This need to balance embracing all this amazing digital connectivity
Which lets us talk to anyone, anywhere.
with the need to actively preserve cultural diversity. We don't want the ease of global communication to just flatten everything out.
Yeah, we don't want a world where every unique cultural thing gets sanded down just because it's easier for a global audience to digest. The global vanilla problem you mentioned.
Right. So it leaves us with a big question, doesn't it, for everyone listening?
Given how fast memes, slang, and global trends take over,
Are we collectively actually doing a good job of preserving that cultural richness right now? Or is homogenization winning out?
That's a heavy one. Requires real effort, I guess, not just passive consumption.
It really does. Cultural
Yeah.
curiosity, like we said, actively trying to understand before reacting. That's the essential strategy.
So stay flexible, stay curious,
Yeah.
and maybe, add a few extra words to that super short text message next time, just in case.
Couldn't hurt. A little context goes a long way.
Well, that is all the wisdom we can possibly squeeze out for today, people. Stay aware of your own cultural filters.
And remember, sometimes, that detailed spreadsheet is actually kinder than just a knowing look online.
And that's our daily dose of communication chaos.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive.